Fear is one of the most powerful emotions a human being can experience. It can stop us mid-step, silence our voice, and convince us to stay small even when our dreams are calling us to grow. Fear whispers doubts into our minds, telling us that we are not ready, not capable, or not worthy. Yet, despite how overwhelming fear can feel in the moment, there is a truth that time reveals again and again. Fear is temporary, but regret can last a lifetime. This truth is not just a motivational phrase. It is a reality shaped by countless lives, choices, and missed opportunities. Fear comes and goes like a storm, but regret settles quietly in the heart, often staying long after the moment has passed. Understanding this difference can change the way we live, decide, and act. The nature of fear. Fear is natural. It is a survival instinct designed to protect us from danger. When we were early humans, fear kept us alive. It warned us of predators, unsafe places, and real threats. But in the modern world, fear has evolved into something different. It no longer just protects us from physical danger. It often protects us from emotional discomfort. We fear failure. We fear rejection. We fear embarrassment. We fear being judged. These fears are not life-threatening, but they feel intense because they challenge our ego and self-image. Fear tells us that if we try and fail, we will be exposed. If we speak up, we might be laughed at. If we follow our dreams, we might disappoint others or ourselves. The problem is not fear itself. The problem is allowing fear to make our decisions for us. A story of two paths. Consider the story of Armin, a young man with a deep passion for writing. From a young age, he filled notebooks with poems, short stories, and ideas for novels. Writing made him feel alive. But as he grew older, fear grew alongside him. What if I'm not good enough? What if no one reads my work? What if I fail and waste my time? Armin chose a safer path. He studied something practical, took a stable job, and told himself he could write someday. Years passed. Responsibilities increased. Life became routine. The fear of starting something new grew even stronger than before. One day, Armin attended the funeral of an old teacher, someone who had once encouraged his writing. While listening to speeches about the teacher's life, Armin felt a heavy realization settle in his chest. Life was not endless. Time was not guaranteed. In that moment, Armin didn't regret the times he had failed. He regretted the times he had never tried. That is the power of regret. It doesn't shout like fear does. It waits quietly, growing heavier with time. Why regret hurts more than fear? Fear is loud but short-lived. Regret is quiet but persistent. When you face fear, your heart races, your palms sweat, and your mind fills with worst-case scenarios. But once the moment passes, whether you succeed or fail, the intensity fades. Even failure teaches lessons, builds resilience, and creates experience. Regret, on the other hand, has no lesson, only longing. Regret sounds like, what if I had tried? I wonder how my life would be different. Why did I let fear stop me? These thoughts replay in the mind, especially during quiet moments. Regret grows stronger with age because opportunities change. Some chances come only once, and when they pass, they cannot be reclaimed. The cost of playing it safe. Society often praises safety and stability. While these things are important, they can become dangerous when they prevent growth. Playing it safe might protect you from short-term discomfort, but it can cost you long-term fulfillment. Many people reach later stages of life, not regretting their mistakes, but regretting their silence, their hesitation, and their unfulfilled dreams. They regret not expressing love when they had the chance, not pursuing a passion, not standing up for themselves, not taking a risk that scared them. Fear kept them comfortable. Regret made them restless. Fear is a sign of growth. One of the biggest mindset shifts you can make is understanding that fear often appears before growth. If something scares you, it usually means it matters. Fear shows up when you are about to step outside your comfort zone. Think about the first time you spoke in public, started something new, took responsibility, made an important decision. Fear was present, but so was growth. If you wait until fear disappears before taking action, you may wait forever. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward despite fear. Temporary discomfort versus permanent what-ifs. Every meaningful action involves discomfort. Starting a new journey is uncomfortable. Learning is uncomfortable. Changing is uncomfortable. But discomfort has an expiration date. Regret does not. A few minutes of courage can save you years of wondering. A single brave decision can prevent a lifetime of self-questioning. When you choose action over fear, even if the outcome isn't perfect, you gain clarity. You know you tried, and trying builds confidence. Failure is not the enemy. Many people fear failure more than anything else. But failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of it. Failure teaches all we thought or doesn't work, how strong you really are, what to improve. Failure gives experience. Regret gives nothing. When you fail, you can adjust your path. When you never start, you stay stuck. Every successful person you admire has failed many times. What separates them from others is not luck or talent. It is the willingness to face fear and act anyway. The weight of unlived potential. One of the saddest things in life is unrealized potential. It is not the absence of talent, but the presence of fear that keeps potential locked away. You were given abilities, dreams, and ideas for a reason. Ignoring them does not make them disappear. It turns them into quiet reminders of what could have been. When you feel restless, dissatisfied, or unfulfilled, it is often your potential asking for expression. Choosing courage daily. Courage is not a single heroic act. It is a daily choice. It is sending the message you are afraid to send. Applying for the opportunity you think you don't deserve. Speaking honestly. Taking the first step without knowing the whole path. Small acts of courage, repeated daily, build a fearless life. You don't have to eliminate fear. You just have to stop letting it lead. Imagine your future self. Imagine yourself years from now, looking back at this moment. What would your future self thank you for? Would they thank you for staying silent or for speaking up, for staying comfortable or for trying, for avoiding risk or for choosing growth? Your future self will not judge you for failing. They will understand that failure is human, but they may struggle to forgive the choices you didn't make because of fear. Turning fear into fuel. Fear does not have to be your enemy. It can become your guide. When fear appears, ask yourself, what is this fear trying to protect me from? Is the risk real or imagined? What is the cost of not trying? Often the cost of inaction is far greater than the cost of failure. Use fear as a signal that you are on the edge of something meaningful. A life lived fully. A fulfilling life is not a fear-free life. It is a life where fear does not have the final say. It is a life where you take chances, learn from mistakes, speak honestly, follow what matters to you. At the end of life, peace does not come from perfection. It comes from knowing you lived authentically. Final reflection. Fear will visit you many times in life. That is inevitable, but regret does not have to. Each time you choose courage, you weaken fear's power. Each time you act despite fear, you strengthen your confidence. And each brave step you take builds a life with fewer what-ifs and more meaningful memories. Remember this always. Fear is temporary. It fades with action. Regret lasts when we let fear decide our life. Choose action. Choose courage. Choose a life you won't regret.